7:30 on the dot. I could see the majority of the members are with us. Is Tricia, I can see you there. So, and also our guest. So I'll just start the session. That's okay. Sam, that's okay?
Yeah, it's okay. Please.
Okay. Okay, great. So welcome everyone once again to another ZASS Visionary Mentorship session. Over time, I think we've had several of these sessions, and it's specifically to educate and equip ZASS members with the tools to tackle life confidently, and not only to survive, but to thrive as well. And today we have a special guest from Botswana. But before I get into it, I think I shall ask Carol to start us off with an opening prayer. Then we can start the session. Carol, you're in?
Yes, I'm in.
Okay, great. Please give us an opening prayer.
Okay, let's embark on to the word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this gathering of visionaries and ZASS Foundation at large. Bless our session on inclusive leadership. Give Miss Lydia wisdom to share and to open our hearts to learn. May our time together spark ideas, unity and courage to empower each other for sustainable development. Lead us, guide us, and let this vision bear fruit. In Jesus' mighty name, I've prayed and believe. Amen.
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 Great.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Carol, for that wonderful prayer.
Amen.
Okay, great. So to start us off, I'll just mention a few housekeeping rules. We'll request that we remain mute for the time being. There'll be a question and answer session at some point, but we will be listening to our guest keenly, and then later on, I think our moderator Tricia will give us more rules during the question and answer session. So maybe I'll just start off by introducing our guest, and I'll try and do justice to her name, given that she's not from around our parts. First name is simple, it's Lydia. Second name is Mafhoko-Ditsa. I hope I've done justice, Lydia, but you could tell me later. Yes, so Lydia, I'm tempted to say she needs no introduction just by going by her CV. But given the circumstances, you are in Botswana and we're in Uganda, I will just give a brief of Lydia's CV. So Lydia is pretty much drawn into the research of healthcare of humankind, especially in the area of HIV/AIDS, community mobilization, gender and human rights, with special focus on violence against women and children, women economic empowerment, life skills, and the list goes on. She currently works with the International Labour Organization, and previously she has worked with big organizations such as the United Nations in various capacities. So Lydia, Phil, I would just like to say you're very welcome to this session, and we are very happy to have you here to present to us on inclusive leadership, and that is empowering women and engaging men for sustainable development. So for the women on this platform, this session is for you. And for the men in this platform, this session is also for you. So it's for everyone. And as a moderator for this particular session, we shall have Tricia Sakwa, who is one of our ZASS Foundation members. Tricia is a final year electrical engineering and computer science student at University of Liverpool. She says she's passionate about leadership, service, and community transformation, and her experiences in youth outreach and mentorship continue to shape her belief in family unity, empowerment, and the power of collective action. And that is the main reason she confidently took up the role to moderate this particular session. So we'll be hearing from both of them later, but before we get to that, I would like to welcome our chair of the ZASS Foundation, that is Sam Sakwa, to give us his opening remarks, and following that, we shall proceed with the session. Chair, over to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Napokoli Masaba Nick, the coordinator of this session. Distinguished guest speaker, Madam Lydia Mafhoko, our moderator for the day, Ms. Tricia Sakwa Navifo, all members of the Visionaries, and all the members of the ZASS Foundation, ladies and gentlemen. My protocol sometimes not on the spot. If I've omitted any dignitary, please pardon me. So let me first of all greet you. Good evening, and where I am, it is good afternoon. And it's my great pleasure to welcome you all to yet another, I guess, exciting mentorship session organized by our vibrant and forward-looking ZASS Visionaries. But before I go into the details of my statement, let me first of all join Nick and the entire family in officially welcoming Madame Mafhoko to ZASS Foundation and also to Uganda, all the way from Botswana. We are really greatly honored.
Thank you.
Thank you for accepting our invitation. Actually, it's a landmark because you are the first foreign guest we are hosting all the way from Southern Africa. Going by the CV that has been probably butchered here, it must be longer than what Nick has read. But we are really appreciative of your sacrifice, your commitment to and acceptance to join us and share your experiences in championing this inclusive leadership, particularly empowering women and exploring how to engage men in sustainable development. Allow me also to acknowledge and sincerely thank in a special way our visionaries, the ZASS Visionaries. Kudos. We are really very proud of you. Your continued initiative and creativity in creating platforms such as these ones for learning and the dialogue is commendable. We only pray that you continue doing this more and more often and regularly, so that we really get to acquire the knowledge and the skills to coexist in this very challenging environment. The consistency with which our young people are convening these engagements demonstrates leadership in action and gives us tremendous confidence as ZASS in the future of our foundation. Let me say something about the ZASS Foundation and the journey we are taking together. For our guests, ZASS Foundation is a family-owned and family-run platform that brings together the descendants of our grandparents, Kuka Zakayo, and Kuhu Asinas. So the ZASS name is an acronym of these two very memorable people in our lives, Kuhu and Kuka Zakayo. The family took a bold step in 2020 to register the foundation as a company limited by guarantee. And the foundation now is governed by the memorandum and articles of association, as well as a tailor-made constitution with a membership of over 80 young and old men and women. Our vision is to build a united, empowered, and sustainable ZASS family founded on love, integrity, and shared prosperity. We aspire to strengthen family bonds, preserve our heritage, promote mutual support, and create opportunities for social and economic empowerment through collective action, innovation, and intergenerational collaboration. Ladies and gentlemen, although ZASS Foundation is still in its formative years, we are hardly maybe 5 or 6 years now, the foundation has made significant progress in translating this vision into action through our community programs, entrepreneurship initiatives, resource mobilization and investment activities, and mentorship programs. We are intentionally creating opportunities for every member to contribute and thrive regardless of age, gender, profession, or location. Actually, in this meeting, we are located, I think, in 4 different countries, but here we are talking to each other. But one initiative that is particularly exciting is the establishment of the ZASS Visionaries. It's a platform composed of youth members of our membership, of our community, aged between 20 and 45 years. And these members are passionate about learning, service, and personal growth. They are championing our youth leadership and mentorship platform. And as you may have noticed, this particular session and many others we have had have been organized by the same group under the leadership of Maureen Navifo. So special thanks to Maureen for the leadership, and we look forward to many more of the same. They represent the next generation of leaders within the foundation, and they are serving as an incubator for leadership development, knowledge sharing, innovation, and intergenerational learning. What is, in my view, what is particularly intriguing or inspiring is that these youngsters are not waiting for leadership opportunities tomorrow. They are already taking up the mantle. They are through these podcasts, mentorship sessions such as this one, mobilization of activities and active participation in the foundation. They are demonstrating that leadership is fundamentally about service, initiative, and creating opportunities for others. This is precisely why today's theme resonates so deeply with us. At ZASS, we have witnessed firsthand the transformative role played by women in creating and preserving our family heritage, nurturing generations, and sustaining family unity. Many of the values we cherish today as a foundation were passed on through the wisdom, resilience, and sacrifices of our mothers and grandmothers. And we are blessed that we still have one standing, and she's connected to this platform. At an opportune time, should be given a chance to greet our guest. Indeed, the very foundation of our family legacy rests upon the shoulders of these remarkable women, whose contribution deserves and will continue deserving recognition and celebration. The leadership of the foundation, which I happen to chair, believe that sustainable development is achieved when women and men work together as partners, when young people are empowered and mentored for a common good. The challenge and opportunity before us is to intentionally nurture this inclusiveness and transform it into a culture of shared leadership and collective progress. Therefore, as we listen to our distinguished guest this evening, I encourage us all to reflect on 4 important challenges. 1, how do we continue to create environments where every ZASS member feels valued and empowered to contribute? This is an ongoing challenge. We must always keep on being innovative, creative, and I'm sure in this session we are going to learn other strategies that we shall deploy to ensure that we continue to create an enabling environment. The second challenge is how do we intentionally nurture and prepare future leaders? We are now using the visionaries, ZASS visionaries, as one avenue, but we also have a younger group who are still students and probably babies and toddlers. How do we prepare ourselves to get them also into the mentorship to eventually take up leadership? That's another challenge that we should reflect on and come up with the right medicine. The third challenge is how do we build ZASS Foundation that will continue to embrace diversity and thrive through collaboration? And the last one is how do we ensure that our families become platforms for empowerment, mentorship, and sustainable development in our communities, in communities countrywide, and also probably world over? I have no doubt that the insights we shall receive in this evening session will enrich our thinking and provide practical lessons that can be applied not only within ZASS, but also in our homes, workplaces, businesses, and communities. With those few remarks, I once again thank the visionaries for organizing this excellent session and also warmly welcome Madame Mafhoko, and wish all of us a productive and engaging inspirational discussion. Thank you so much. I look forward to active participation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, our chair, that's Sam Sakwa, for that inspiring introduction. It's always great to hear from you. You would think that he is the guest speaker for this session. But over to, I think, the crux of the matter of this meeting. I would like to take this opportunity to hand over to Tricia Sakwa, who will be moderating this session, and it will take us through the next a few minutes with our guest. Over to you, Tricia.
Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, everyone, and welcome to the ZASS Foundation Visionaries Mentorship Session. The chairperson has talked about most of the material I've prepared, so forgive me if there's any repetition. My name is Tricia Sakwa, and I will be moderating today's session. I'm really pleased that we are having this conversation about inclusive leadership, empowering women, and engaging men for sustainable development, because it speaks directly to the kind of future we are trying to build as ZASS. When we hear the phrase inclusive leadership, it can sometimes sound very formal, but at its heart, it's about people. It is about who is encouraged to lead, whose voice is taken seriously, who is supported to grow, and who is given the opportunity to continue meaningfully. It is about us to look beyond titles and positions and to think about leadership as something that can happen in families, communities, workplaces, businesses, and everyday decisions. This theme is especially important for ZASS because our own demographic profile shows that we already have so much potential within the family. Women make up the majority of our membership. Men remain essential partners in progress, and many of our members are children, students, graduates, and emerging professionals. To ground this conversation in who we are at ZASS, I wanted to briefly highlight our education and employment profile. The data shows that we already have a strong foundation with nearly half of our 82 living members holding post-secondary qualifications. It also shows that many of these qualifications are held by members in the 21 to 40 age group, which represents an emerging generation of professionals, entrepreneurs, and future leaders. But the same profile also points to an important challenge. Among the 21 to 40 age group, there is still a transition gap between education and stable employment. So this is not only a broad conversation about leadership or development somewhere far away, it is about us. It is about how we recognize the strength within our family, how we use them to build something stronger for the next generation. Sustainable development cannot happen when some people are fully supported while others are left behind. If women are empowered, if women are not empowered, families lose potential, communities lose leadership, and economies lose creativity, labor, ideas, and enterprise. If young people are not mentored, we risk having talent without direction, education without opportunity, and ambition without support. If men are not engaged in the conversation, then gender equality can easily be misunderstood as a women-only issue instead of a shared responsibility that benefits everyone. Ignoring a theme like this has real consequences. It can lead to opportunities, unequal access to leadership, weaker families, underused talent, and young generations growing up without confidence, networks, or the guidance they need to succeed. It can also create division where empowerment is seen as competition instead of collaboration. But when leadership is inclusive, people are more likely to feel valued, heard, and responsible for the progress of the whole community. From my own understanding, one of the most important parts of the theme is that empowerment should bring people together. Supporting women does not mean excluding men. And involving men does not mean shifting the focus away from women. It means recognizing that lasting development works best when everyone has a role to play. It means creating spaces where women can lead, men can support and partner, young people can learn, and older generations can pass on wisdom and experience. That is why today's conversation is so valuable. It gives us a chance to reflect on how we can build leadership that is practical, inclusive, and rooted in service. We can think about how mentorship can help young people prepare for the future, how entrepreneurship can create independence and opportunity, and how families like ours can become platforms for social and economic transformation. We are very honored to be joined today by Ms. Lydia Mafhoko-Ditsa, I'm sorry if I've gotten it wrong, whose work connects strongly with this theme. She currently serves as the EntreprenHER Coordinator under the Ministry of Youth and Gender Affairs in Botswana. Ms. Mafhoko-Ditsa, thank you so much for joining us today. We are grateful to have you with us, and we look forward to learning from your journey, your work, and your reflections. Over to you.
Madam Moderator, I'll ask Maureen to share my presentation from her end. Maureen, my daughter, please share my presentation. Thank you very much for the invitation. I really feel privileged, and many of you may not know how I am connected to Maureen and Rachel. But since you moved from Uganda to Botswana, I've been working with her mother, and we are very close. If you think that they don't have grandmothers and aunties in Botswana, there are many of us. I want to start my presentation with the first slide, looking at women, what they did on leadership. I have tried to really look at women from a biblical point of view. And I'm very interested how women handle leadership and money, because money is important. Money changes our life stories. And I think for me, women in the Bible taught me a lot. They actually came across
Sorry,
as
Ma.
having wisdom.
Lydia.
Yes.
Sorry for cutting you short. I don't know if Kevin is online. Kevin, we were not seeing the presentation initially.
I thought I saw it. Okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
We are now seeing it.
Okay. I wanted to start saying, but I want to really look at the biblical traits of women on leadership and economic empowerment. And for me, I tried to study what women in the Bible did. How did they handle money? Because money is very important. I think for me, the Bible taught me that women did not stay small. It taught me that women had wisdom and discernment and leadership, and they have a way of multiplication. For me, I have 5 women I want to share with you. And let me start with myself, Lydia. Lydia is a woman that built wealth without losing her value. She built business. She built wealth, but she did not compromise her values. She was a seller of the purple cloth, and we know how expensive and luxurious it was as a trade in the biblical times. Lydia was a leader. Lydia was a businesswoman, and Lydia was a woman of faith. She proved that you can build financially while still staying grounded spiritually. And I think for me, this is very important for our children, for our young girls and women, that you can still build your businesses, you can still get your PhDs, but still remain grounded spiritually. Let me go to the Proverbs woman. And I know most people reduce this woman to a wife material. And sometimes it's how we look at women. When you are a housewife, you are a stay-home mother, and people don't value what you are doing. Because women who stay home have a role to play. They are the ones that are giving our children the foundation. They are the ones that are grounding our children. But let me highlight this, which I think is important for today's topic. The scripture literally says she bought land. Land is an important economic resource. And she planted a vineyard. And a vineyard is an investment that the family can still benefit from what she created. I think for me, she left a legacy for her family to continue. Let me go to the Acts. Acts 16:14, the widow of Zarephath. She trusted God, even in lack. So her trust was never shaken by her current status, her situation. Her faith remained strong. She had one final meal left, and yet she didn't have the final say. This story for me teaches us that scarcity and limitation are not always the same. You may not have today, but it should not limit you. So for our children who comes from families that might be limited, in a way, it should not scare them, because they must know they can change the status of the family. Let me go to the poor widow. 1 Kings chapter 17, verse 16. For me, the poor widow, she understood differently the value that the world does. For her, even if she went and donated what she has, everyone around her noticed the large donations. But you must take into cognizance that even if everyone around the widow was looking at large donations, for Jesus noticed the sacrifice. That changed how I view generosity completely, because she gave all that she had. So I think as we work, as we raise our children, for me, these are the values of leadership, because we should never take away the leadership from our spiritual values. Deborah, Mark 12:44. She led with conviction. She wasn't waiting for perfect timing and perfect confidence or perfect conditions. She moved and led by wisdom. She led decisively, and people trust her because of that. So, and I think for me, as women, there is so much to learn from these women from the Bible. Judges chapter 4, verse 4. In this scripture that I studied, I realized biblical women were never weak. They were not scared. They were wise. They had wisdom. They built. They steward. And they led with wisdom. And they led with conviction. They multiplied like Lydia did what was entrusted unto them. And I think a lot of them, of modern women, were never taught this aspect and the side of the Bible. And I really feel, if I'm talking to you, if this resonate with you, I know in your heart, you can raise your hand. Because I feel these women have taught us what it means to be a woman and to be a leader and to be a woman of faith. So for me, that's what I really feel. This is the foundation. And as a family foundation that I'm talking to, I felt, next slide, I felt that this is where I should begin, so that our foundation must be based on our faith. And this is where I am coming to say, family is the foundation of leadership. Family serve as the first leadership school. And for me, I'm convinced, I'm not sure about you, but for me, Lydia, I'm convinced that shaping the core values and emotional intelligence of our children for the future leaders depend on us. So I really feel, next slide, I really feel that the family plays a critical role. It is within our homes that we nurture our children. And the lesson they learn early in our home of empathy, of how to communicate to their siblings, on how to communicate with their parents, how to communicate with their uncles. For me, it's a preparation for future leadership. How as siblings, they actually learn on conflict resolution, because families, we do resolve conflicts. And for their future, they should take what they have learned. And I want to pause here and say, I worked with one colleague at UNDP. What he shared with me one day, we were chatting, remained in my mind for a very long time. He said, my father married my mother, but their age difference was 25. So my father was a community leader, a well-respected leader. Every family member, they used to come to him to resolve conflicts. And as a child, I learned and listened to how he resolved those family conflicts. But there was something that I think was very unique of what he said to me. He said, Lydia, he kept on selling us as children. I think Uganda is the same as Botswana. You make tea, you come in, you hear things. And their father said, whatever you hear as you come in, eardrop, please, this should never leave this homestead. Confidentiality. Establishing a blueprint that directly influence how our children interact with others, how we guide them, how they know they must support the wider community in the villages and the world. If a child has been brought up with a family with values, you will see. Yes, sometimes they don't reflect that, but many do. I did not want to bring statistics. I didn't want to be a lot of researchers, but what I'm putting in for me is how we live on day to day. Emotional regulation. Childhood experiences set a foundation for handling conflict and navigating difficult professional and community roles as they grow up. In Botswana, we know men were told not to cry. A man should never cry. And we know those are the gender norms that we should really get rid of, because it's important to cry if you are facing a relationship building. Trust, empathy, and mutual respect. We learn it in our families. We learn it. We learn who is the leader. We know when our fathers walked in, we know the role our mothers play. We know the roles our uncles play, the role that they play. Diversity and compromise. We know how our mothers are very good in navigating this among us as siblings and extended family members. We know when you have wronged the family, you have done something, you know who to run to. All of us have favorite aunties that you know they can defend you. And later they can sit you down and tell you. But in the eyes of everybody, you know there's an aunt that will defend me. For me, social agility needed to successfully collaborate with diverse team. And whatever we learn, we take it out there. And then I think for me, there's a shared purpose. ZASS have a shared purpose. You have over a solo glory. Strong family units such as yours prioritize moving together. And I want to take this moment to congratulate you. To saying translating this to leadership means focusing on collaborative wins rather than individual collaboration. Next slide. And I think for me, as we move to the next slide, I've learned a lot. And I'm asking myself, what is my family doing? So as I'm here, you must know I'm learning. And my life motto is I'm still learning. And this time around, I've taken a journey to learn in Eastern Africa, Uganda. I didn't want to talk about a lot of definition, but I think for me, women's empowerment is the process which enables one to gain power, authority, and influence others. And the women's empowerment equip us as women and young girls with the authority. It begins early, and resources and capacity to make autonomous choices. It is when you have been empowered that you can make, as a woman, as a young girl, to make autonomous choices. It is essential for global process, driving economic growth, reducing poverty, and fostering social justice. And I think for this is what I believe from what I have read, from what Maureen shared with me, that this ZASS really is to foster social justice. And you are starting in the right platform by starting with your own family. When women are empowered, the entire family is empowered. The community is empowered. So what you are doing is empowering the whole nation of Uganda. So you are doing a great job. Nations thrive and then become more resilient for what has happened at a family level. So empowering women requires actionable, systematic strategies across educational. And I know when the moderator was introducing the SARS, she talked about the educational. Who hold what? But I think for me, I take that all those degrees, they make a difference when what the values that you have learned from your family, from your home, from your school comes to complement your certificates. And you also know that political France plays a critical role. It means fair hiring. It means women being given access to education, women having equal access to get jobs, women having access in taking a direction in politics, and also giving, and also saying, even at work level, even at schools where girls are given female leadership, to be prefects, to be head girls, that's where leadership is nurtured. So as a family, you need to see that these girls start that leadership, encourage them, nurture them to compete in schools, to take leadership positions. For me in Botswana, I have seen that those that have made it in politics started in schools, in secondary schools, in primary schools. But also, what you are doing should be also be amplified at national level, where we should have policies that are there to close the gap. Let me touch a bit on women's economic empowerment. Women's economic empowerment means women have been given equal right, access to economic resources. For me, I just choose these two, and they're not the only ones. How you are treated at work, the salaries and everything. But for me, the most important thing is access to land. Land is an important economic resource for women. And for Africa, in the past, women were not given access to land. If your husband owned a land, it means you own a land. When he divorces you, you don't have a land. In countries like Swaziland, they told me when I was an advisor at regional level that, Lydia, you know what we can do? In Swaziland, if you want to acquire a land and you're not married, as soon as you have your son, and they actually describe it interestingly, that even before the umbilical cord can fall off, as long as they have their certificate, you can go and get a land by actually showing that you have a son, and then he can be allocated land. So I think for me, those were discriminated. And I'm picking inheritance because in Botswana, inheritance also plays a major role. That if you have a daughter and a son, why are you differentiating who should take what? In the past, women in Botswana, especially where I come from, the Ngwato tribe, women were given to inherit, household utensils. Please, what? Household utensils, they don't have value. And we are getting the land for plowing. Nowadays, they fight even for that with us. And the firstborn will inherit the borehole. And as a country where farming was the core of the economic, so for me, they were given what has value, and women were given less. The firstborn get the borehole, he's given a bigger share of the cattle, and then the last born inherit the homestead. So what was there left for a girl? That was discrimination. And for me, the power to make decisions about their economic situation. This situation has changed. We used to ask our husbands to go and apply for a loan, even if your husband was not working. And please, my brothers, I'm not disrespecting you. But all I'm saying is that even if you're working as a wife, you want to get a loan, your husband has to consent. But that has changed with the abolition of the Marital Power Act. We are equal. We can get land. Inheritance is looked differently. But I think for me, when it comes to access to employment and financial resources, property and fair wages, we have done a bit better. Next slide. But I know countries are still struggling with these things. What is the real core challenge when it comes to inclusive leadership, women's empowerment, and engaging men as allies? I think for me, gender equality matters. Women make up of the half of the global population, but they have continued. They are still continuing. They're still experiencing and facing persistent disparities in economic opportunities, resource control, and decision-making. As we speak, women in parliament in Botswana, they're less than 10%. As cabinet, less than 15%. We have regressed. A few countries have made progress, but the interconnectedness of achieving the Sustainable Development Goal, gender equality and women's empowerment, act as a catalyst for empowering women and engaging men differently. And I think for me, this is the opportunity to unlock women potential across all sustainable. Next slide, please. So for me, what is the case for inclusion? We need innovation, enhance diverse leadership teams, increase creativity, and drive better organizational performance. Resilience, that's what we need. Inclusive resources management and environmental design to improve community resilience and accountability. And I've talked about this, I'll repeat it again. Gender equality is a critical driver for achieving our sustainable development goals. It ensures inclusive growth by promoting equal opportunities, rights, participation for all women and men, by making sure gender and equality is integrated in our daily activities. Gender equality or gender mainstreaming is in the center of our family planning, our family budgeting, our family plans, and our district or provincial planning and national planning, national development bank, or national development plans. So for me, importance of sustainable development goals or gender equality and women's empowerment is essential, as it empowers individuals, but it empowers women and girls. As such, it enhances social cohesion and economic productivity. Next slide. Next slide. So for me, how do we empower women and girls as change makers? For me, this is a shift to human-centered leadership, because women have empathy in action, moving away from the rigid, ego-driven management towards collaborative environments that prioritize team well-being. Women, when they lead, they're not ego-driven. They move towards collaborating with others, and they recognize that working as a team is important. And I think for me, it's about building trust, cultivating safe spaces for both men and women, boys and girls, to ask questions, to be creative and innovative, and are fearless in raising the issues that matters, that are close to their heart. Women, we know they are driving the sustainable development. And for me, they stand for institutional growth because they are empathy driven or focused, and they are human-centered leaders. We need women in decision making. Increasing their representation in climate and development governance ensures that the needs of women, girls, and even their sons and their husbands and uncles, their needs are met. Economic agency. Promoting women's access to paid work, education, and productive housing will reduce the poverty. That is, if we take them at the center of development planning. The glass cliff phenomenon. Research has demonstrated that women frequently excel at taking on precocious, highly scrutinized leadership roles and turning them around. Next slide. I don't even have to explain this. I think for me, when they are leaders, you can see. Let me talk about engaging men as allies. Women in this meeting, please, men are not our enemies. And men are not in the opposition for women's growth and leadership. Let's take men as our allies. I usually give this that a bird has wings, and if one wing is injured, the bird cannot fly. So that's how, for me, I take a woman and a man. Let's have shared responsibility. Let us take a narrative of shifting from women's issues to social issues. Because what affects women has consequences and impact for the society and the community we live in. So to prevent the burden of sustainability from falling solely on women, let us have a shared responsibility of raising these children and shaping them to be leaders of tomorrow. Let us see any daughter that you see on the street, any girl that you see, any boy that you see as a parent, that you have a shared responsibility for their future. You have to create a conducive environment at family level, at community level, at a societal level. It is upon us, both of us, as men, let's change norms. Stop saying they're going to laugh at me. Encouraging men to advocate for equitable practices and inclusive communication in the workplace. Gone are the days when men should take decisions when they go and play golf. When they say it's a men's agreement, let's bring our women. Remember, these women are our wives, our daughters, and our nieces. If you can treat them right at work, your daughter will also be treated. Your niece will also be treated the way you treat others at your workplace. Partnership models. Fostering environments where men and women at any age realize their full potential as equal economic and political actors. Give us the space, embrace us, and hold a hand where we are faltering. Next slide. Next slide, please. So I think for me, I want to talk about inclusive leadership competencies. And I want to say, I try to make this presentation very simple. To say we need to carry the empathy and awareness and actively understanding the unique barriers faced by underrepresented groups and vulnerable groups. As women, as girls, but also within communities, we know we have groups within the population that are underrepresented and remain vulnerable, like people with disability. I don't want to talk about others, but we know other vulnerable groups. Equitable decision-making. It is in this inclusive leadership that implementing transparent and hiring promotional pathways to reduce systematic bias when we make decisions, when we are hiring, to make that our policies are gender responsive. Next slide. Is a management style where leaders actively value, respect, leverage, and diverse perspective to empower their teams irrespective whether it's a man, whether it's a woman, whether it's a young girl or a young boy. Inclusive leadership fosters workplace culture of psychological safety, that everyone will feel from ZASS that they belong, they can make decisions, they can contribute without any fear, and ensuring that everyone has equal opportunity to succeed regardless of their background. Why is inclusive leadership important? Because it strengthens decision-making. We hear from both sides, male and female. It also enhances employee engagement and retention because their contribution is valued and acknowledged. And it attracts and retains top talent. Next slide. For me, I wanted to go back again after inclusive leadership to introduce the male allies to gender equality. We need to raise awareness and talk and talk and talk and talk to make sure that our communication is important for gender equality in all our interaction, our daily interactions. Any opportunity you do, you address, even at a church, we should introduce the male allies in gender equality. Because I always say the church is a place where you can test a lot of things. And I think for me, as a family, as a foundation, you need to have a model behavior. By demonstrating respectful behavior that challenge gender stereotype. And the gender stereotype in Africa, for me, they are the same. You know, where we say we have in Botswana that women, saying women cannot lead. We need to change those. We need to mentor women. It is our responsibility to actively mentor women, support them in their professional endeavor, on what they want to do, on what they want to venture in, and not be bothered by stereotypes that, what are you going to do? You want to be an engineer? No. Give them the space, support them, and whatever they want to be. Because whatever a man can do, a woman can do, as long as you give them the conducive environment, as long as we support them. Joint ventures. Participate in and support gender equality programs within our organization, and listen carefully to your own daughters at home. Listen to your boy child. Listen to your employees, both men and women. Share platforms. Use your privilege to amplify women's voices in decision making. Any platform that you need to give women, do so. It is upon you as men to challenge gender inequality. Speak up, don't shy away against discrimination against women. I think for me, educate peers, facilitate workshops to educate colleagues and about gender equality. Next slide. It is possible. It can be done. Let this be something that we do every day. We are intentional about it. We do it. Why is it important to engage men in gender equality initiatives? We need to have an open dialogue, promote an open dialogue, create safe spaces for discussing gender equality. There is nothing that is undiscussable when it comes to gender equality. Create a safe space to even discuss. Let not fear guide you. Mentor underprivileged voices. I've talked about this. Let men mentor women and girls. Be the one to advocate for change, to make sure women are in leadership so that you have inclusive leadership. Support policies and promote policies for gender equality in your own organization and it is you as men who will change the stereotypes by actively challenging the gender stereotype in our daily interactions. Next slide. Next slide, please. What is your role as men in promoting gender equality or inclusive leadership? We really need to encourage you to participate. Daily discussions, watch out what you are saying, because sometimes what we say every day to women, to girls, to our daughters at home, to girls and the family and the community, our daily discussions. Create that conducive environment. Talk about gender equality. Show your support. Have workshops on women leadership. Have community dialogues or community conversations on gender equality. Gender matters and issues of gender need to be discussed by fostering and creating a conducive environment where they can learn and share best practice, when they can be given space to be heard and not judged. And if we do this, this will lead to greater awareness and commitment to promoting gender equality in their personal space and social and professional. Next slide. I know I've said all these things, but it doesn't come easy. There are always challenges faced by male allies on gender equality. Navigating social expectation around masculinity can be a challenge. In Botswana, we say "Paramisisi," meaning that you are always around girls. Around, like they say, he's always around women's skirts, and that is belittling you. But if you know what you can achieve, you wouldn't be discouraged by this. It can be challenging to navigate social expectation, but it's possible to maintain what you want to achieve. Don't be derailed. Most men face peer pressure to conform to the stereotypes. Don't be that man. Don't be that man that can derail because of peer pressure. Remain steadfast. Cultural norms in our societies can hinder men's efforts as allies. There is always backlash. They'll call you names, they'll criticize from men and their peers. But if you know what you want, you remain focused. The benefits are huge. Male allies may be ridiculed for participating, but don't give it an ear to listen. Move on. Fear of being labeled and be less masculinity. Please ignore this. There are bigger benefits for being an ally on gender equality. Next slide. We're just about to complete. Next slide. Because as a coordinator for the EntreprenHER, I put only 2 slides to say this is a program called EntreprenHER. It was rebranded in 2024 when we did our phase 3. It started in 2019. First, when it started, it was called Accelerating Women-Owned Microenterprises, AWOMI. For me, this is a program that, for me, gives women opportunity to run their businesses. Sometimes countries are not able to employ every woman, but we need to be deliberate and focused on making sure that women run effective businesses. Because women are the ones that are running families. We have single mothers that are raising their children. So they need to have money. They need to generate their wealth so that if they are in abusive relationship, they can comfortably leave those relationships. This is a program generously funded by DBS Group, an international diamond mining giant. It collaborated with UN Women, and they are in 3 countries when they are mining the diamonds: Botswana, South Africa, and Namibia. They are also in Canada, but they have a different program for Canadians. And every 3 years, they actually have a target of 1.5 million, 1,500 women micro enterprises in these 3 countries. This is the BS contribution to the Sustainable Development Goal by focusing on goal number 5. Next slide. Next slide. Yeah. This program, when it started, it really focused on capacity building, making sure that women knows how to run their businesses. They know how to run their businesses. They know what it takes to run a business. They have the skills, and they know the rules and regulations of running a business in the country. So we, UN Women, adopted a model, a business model called Start and Improve Your Business. And this program was initially developed by Swedish Employers Confederation for local and small medium entrepreneurs, which later was further developed by International Labour Organization. And Botswana, we adopted this, and South Africa did that. And we said, this is what we are going to use for our women. By enhancing their capacity to increase the profitability of their businesses and improve the quality of life through entrepreneurial leadership and giving them life skills, mentoring, and coaching. Next slide. Next slide. I hope people are not sleeping. Next slide. Next slide. Okay. Since I just want to give you the highlights of the success stories. In Botswana, for phase 3 and phase 1, we exceeded the 500. We actually trained over 621. And that year we created more than 900 jobs. In phase 3, our 500, we are already at 448. We have trained them in those districts. And so far we have trained Botswana's population. It's small. When you say 1,000, you must not compare it with Uganda. But they've created more jobs. Some businesses have graduated from micro to medium. And some businesses have actually, for instance, from a tech shop to a general dealer, from a backyard or subsistence to commercial farming, and they've improved their business management skills, record keeping, costing, marketing, and they've registered their businesses with SIPA, with BRS, with Public Procurement Regulatory Authority, and most of them have open business account. The picture that you see there is one of our beneficiary. She attended the Africa Continent Free Trade Agreement area that they went to Togo last month or this month. So really for me, it has made a difference to women's lives. Next slide. Next slide. Okay. Through this program, we have managed to forge strategic partnerships with different organizations, including the private sector. In Botswana, we are among the 3 countries. We have a Stanbic Bank, Botswana. There are new initiatives, areas that the phase 3 has included, other than just training and mentoring and coaching. DBS and UN Women have introduced seed grant to make sure that women are given little money to improve their businesses. And we have also included financial literacy and digital literacy and climate smart agriculture. And then Orange Digital Center Botswana is working with us. They are training women on digital literacy. Women in Business Association, we are still in discussion, but we are working with them to make sure that we can benefit from the partnership with DHL, which is actually capacitating them, women, to start their exporting their products, those that are ready for export. We are also working with a local enterprise authority, and they are part of our trainers. Botswana, which is the mining giants in Botswana, they're working with us on climate smart. And then we have UNDP, they're also joining us on climate smart agriculture. Smart Botswana and Finland Force, they're working with us to develop women entrepreneurs business packages. Next slide. Let me say, as I was talking about inclusive leadership, I want to also say, as a woman, I always want to say when I end my presentation that a woman should be the woman who knows that the grass is greener where she stands. Because women, we bring value to every space that we occupy. So be the woman who knows the grass is greener. My young daughters, wherever you stand, you must know you bring value to every space you take in leadership. And I want to say, and by saying the Proverbs 16, chapter 16, verse 3. Commit thy works unto the Lord, and your thoughts shall be well established. When you create a business idea and plan, you must share it with God, for He can make sure that you accomplish. I thank you. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Miss Lydia. I think you have given us a lot to reflect on, especially around leadership, empowerment, and the role of each of us can play in building more inclusive communities. We'll now move on to the Q&A session. This is important for us to engage more directly, so please feel free to ask a question, share reflection, or connect what has been said to your own experiences within the ZASS or your work within the community. It would be ideal if you could raise your hand or type your question in the chat, and I'll take them on one at a time. And if possible, you could please turn on your camera as you ask your question. Yeah. Okay. Okay, we have a question from the chairman.
Thank you, moderator, and thank you, Madam Lydia. This is very inspiring, and it has given us deep insights into what we should do to promote more inclusiveness and also involvement of women in what we do. The comfort I draw from this discussion is that we are not far off from the mark. I think I don't want to speak for the women in the in the family, but growing from our background, as I said, we owe this to the ladies, grandmothers and grandmothers. It's clear that these ladies were empowered, and they passed on that empowerment to us, who are also now trying to explore ways of pushing it down to the next generation. So we are on track, but there's a lot still to be done within the family. And at the national level, I think the government is also trying its best. There's a lot of what they call gender, what's the word? Affirmative action. But I was just touched with the partnerships that you have managed to forge with the several private institutions. And I think to me that is one way of leveraging the efforts that we could also explore. But exactly how did you manage to attract such a large number of partners, and what exactly are they contributing to the program? Are they bringing technical assistance? Are they bringing in matching capital? What are they exactly contributing to the EntreprenHER program that you are managing? That's question number one. Question number two is largely more like sharing experiences, maybe your personal experience, because you have really spoken from a very highly informed position. Did you have any chance to undergo in a mentorship, and are you also at personal level mentoring, uh, not necessarily through your workplace, but through other organizations or relations that you have? Do you see mentorship as empowering these youth or the women to move the needle forward? Thank you.
I don't know if I have to answer or take all the questions, then I can respond to all of them. Madam Moderator?
Yeah, whichever you're comfortable with, you can answer.
Okay. Let me respond to this one. Thank you very much, Sam. I think for me, the public-private partnerships, you know, sometimes some things happen in a country that will bring changes. I think you are well aware that Botswana has the economic miracle of Botswana from the least developed country to a middle income country, upper middle income country, was because of the diamonds. And in the last 2 years, 3 years, the diamond sales has drastically gone down because of the artificial diamonds that has been developed by developed countries. It's such that has affected the economy. And I think sometimes those changes, you may look at it as being negative. But I think for me, it was a wake-up call where public and private partnerships, triple Ps, is emerging as the way of life in Botswana. So we have recently seen in the last 2 years now where the private public partnership has improved because it's also knowing that without diamonds, we need to look at other opportunities and create those opportunities. And I think through this program, it is one of the programs that it's not that I'm the coordinator. It's actually the demand for this program has really increased. It is because in the past, when we had money as Botswana, government used to issue funds, give grants without necessarily making the necessary preparatory work of ensuring that when you give money, grants, you give capacity. Capacitation, mentoring, and coaching is really important. And I think it's, I was just interviewed a few weeks ago, just talking about it, and then it was on Facebook and TikTok. And because of the current difficult situation, when women saw that, they never stopped coming to my office to really say we need to be capacitated. At first, even myself, I was like, other programs are giving women money, but we are just going there for capacity building. But the way the program has been structured, women appreciated the fact that it is giving them skills to improve their businesses. So I think for me, training coupled with mentorship and coaching is the way to go. Don't just train and go back. Don't do once off. Be there for the women, because we create WhatsApp groups. We create investment groups where we group them according to their businesses. We engage with them. So I think for me, they have recognized how critical it is to be given skills. But not only just being trained, but mentors, the trainers are there to hold your hand and walk the journey with you. So I think that for me, it's very important. At personal level, I think mentorship is something that I value. And I think mentorship should actually begin at family level, where we create mentors at our own family levels. Let's do it. If we cannot do it, who is going to do it? Let's have mentors at churches, at community level. Children, even women at workplace, men at workplace, they should have people that mentor them, that hold their hand. And I think for me, the journey is not lonely. You know you have somebody you can confide. You know there's somebody who is helping you to walk whatever difficult journey you go through. So mentorship for me is very important. I still have my deputy representative from UNDP for the last, I think the last time I left UNDP was in 2009. I'm still in contact with her. She still inspires me. She still mentors me. And I have many that I'm mentoring. Because I think for me, that's what we need. We need to build every day. And we must never, ever leave mentorship and coaching because it gives direction. Thank you. I'll take other questions. And I hope I have answered your question. And I think for me, for the private-public partnership, that's the way to go. To partner and work together because we are all targeting the same people. I'll get other questions.
Okay, we have another question from Uncle Isaiah.
Okay, thank you, Tricia, moderator. And thank you, Lydia, for the nice presentation. And I have just one observation and probably one question to ask. The first one is you made a statement which was really very appealing, and I want to link it to our old women. You made a statement and you said degrees make a difference if the values of the family are all inclusive, something like that. And I found that to be a very touching statement, because if you look at them, you know, most of them were not schooled, maybe apart from two, but they were very intelligent. They had very strong values, and the list is very long, but maybe I can highlight about two. Unity, they have love. They had love, they could collaborate. I mean, we could see people while we were growing up who could sit together, laugh together, eat together, and do all sorts of things. And by doing that, they set a very fine example for us. We still cherish those memories. So when you mentioned that statement, I really appreciated it. It was something good. And now when we look at our visionaries now, they really have, I think, both. All of them, I think, have gone to school, and others are still at school. Others are they're being, I mean, they're coming up. So that means if we combine the two, we can even be stronger and achieve better objectives. So I just wanted to make that observation. But also, of course, the presentation, Lydia, is largely skewed to women. And in my view, it is skewed to women, and it's good because we've grown in a society, especially in Africa, where women are so marginalized to the extent that they need to come up and push for gender equality and inclusiveness, which I appreciate. However, what I wanted to observe, or maybe to ask you as an expert on gender issues to guide us on, is somehow the push for gender equality has in a way eroded, and I'm using these words deliberately, you know, the health condition of relationships or families. And I'm not saying this because I'm driven by stereotyping or what, or fear, not at all, but it's an observation based on what I see, you know, especially in Uganda and generally in Africa. You see, where women, after achieving you know. If their success story is excellent, then the family values are eroded. You see, you don't see loyalty, you don't see submissiveness, you see competition, and you see all these negative traits. And in my view, that has led to it has consequences. So we are having people maybe not getting married because they feel they are high up there, or you're finding competition in the families and they don't listen to each other, and because there is some sort of competition. So how should we help our young ones to really look at that balance and understand that as a woman, this is where I should stop. As a man, this is where I should stop, so that a line is drawn, and there's a understanding in terms of behavior, in terms of, because you see, the more people are empowered, and I'm not in any way saying it's a wrong thing, I'm saying it's a good thing, and that's what we should push for. In fact, in my home, I have only women, a mother and 3 girls. You see, so I am speaking based on what I see, the exposure I have, based on observation, that many families are actually failing because of failing to draw the line or to see the difference, and to know where they should stop. So you find tensions in the home, you find tensions in office, a competitive spirit is promoted, and there's some bit of confusion. So how can you advise our young ones, especially the visionaries, who are coming up and they're doing very well, to draw the line and know that this is where I should end, this is where, regardless of what I have achieved, whether status, money, or the value I'm adding to the family and so forth, so that you don't see you don't see people crossing the line. You see, that's where the delicate line is, the thin line is, and I'd like you to advise on how that balance should be achieved. I hope I've been understood.
Thank you very much. I think I understood you very well. I appreciate your question. And I think for me, I want to start by saying, if there is something that has been trivialized and misunderstood by us as women, is gender equality and women's empowerment. I think for me, that's why I started my presentation from a biblical point of view, by demonstrating that let's never walk away from the book of life that guides us. And I think for me, gender equality, it's not about disrespecting our husband. It's not taking away the fact that the man is the head of the family. For me, that's why I love the ZASS Foundation, because it's a family foundation. That's why I talked about the importance of instilling the family values. For me, whether you have a degree or you have a PhD, look at Lydia. She had money. She was a businesswoman, but she respected. She didn't forget about her values. So for me, It is also, I want to advise that we should also try our best as the Family Foundation to teach our daughters, to teach our sons, because it's both ways. It's not only from the women's side. Sometimes many say, gender activists say, sometimes I think we have focused more on empowering the girl child. And I know you mentioned it very clearly that my presentation was skewed towards girls, towards women. I tried to balance by showing the importance of men as gender equality allies, the important role that they are playing. For me, we are like this. If the man is the head, we women, we are the neck. We both need each other. And we need to respect each other. We need to acknowledge the contribution by each other. The push for gender equality and if I give Botswana as an example, sometimes when I do gender responsive laws, we have the Abolition of Marital Power Act. I wish I could tell what I say in Setswana, and I'll say it and I'll translate it. And I usually tell our women that this law was not made for us to disrespect men. It was made for us to make sure that we sit down and we consult. Ka Setswana ke a re, ke morero. Oh no, you know, like in Setswana, we know we have to consult. As a family, you must consult. You must create conducive environment for you as a wife, a fiancé, to sit down with your partner, to sit down with your husband and discuss issues. Create time, conducive time, such that you both sit down and talk and have a consensus. This, when that consensus, you reach it because you respect each other. You acknowledge each other. If you have made a mistake, you apologize. So I think for me, yes, I admit, sometimes it's like when men, both men and women, when they have money, it's like they forget their role in the family of consultation, respecting each other, and knowing that whatever decision we have to make, we do it collectively with respect. So I totally agree with you, Isai. This gender equality has been trivialized and misunderstood. And sometimes, you know, money, my brother, money changes people. So I think for me, it's when you have foundations like the ZASS Foundation Visionaries, that you will help your own daughters to understand, but also your own sons. We need to have mentors. When our children get married, get somebody to mentor them. Get a couple that they know what marriage is all about, to be the ones that mentor them and coach them to go through the journey of marriage. Don't leave it until there are problems. So foundations like this are very important. Yes, it has been misunderstood. It has been trivialized. Sometimes we feel, and the women also, they want to create in their space. Power is sweet, oh my brother. So sometimes when we are at a managerial level, we achieve positions. We forgot when we get home to humble ourselves. So, my daughters, humble yourself, respect your husband. Don't go home and treat them like you are at work now, you are the boss. No, you have a role as a wife, but you have a role as a boss at work. Those are two different roles. Sometimes trying to balance them becomes difficult. I hope I have answered you and I understood your question very well. It's what we deal with every day. Thank you.
Thank you again. As I'm being made aware, there was a hand before from Wakoli Bobs.
Thank you. Partly, Uncle Isaiah put a hint on what I had wanted to, but just to add on a voice, I want to appreciate our presenter. We are grateful for the message. We are learning a lot. My other area of interest was in bid to see to it that the women are empowered. And I saw on the other side where we saw the challenges as our male counterparts coming to support the ladies to also come up. But I'm asking myself a question. As we do that, don't we, the women, the girls, ourselves also become a challenge to our own development, to our own empowerment? How do we handle that? Yes, we've talked about, Uncle Isaiah has hinted on, after we have been empowered, those challenges that come after, yes. But I'm looking at this where we are needed to be empowered, but then we ourselves have kept down. How do we help such a mindset to also know that I need to come out of the backyard, and the opportunity is there, but then I am becoming myself a hindrance to that step up? I wanted so much to look into that direction. Thank you.
Wakuli, thank you very much. I think for me, it is always important to remember who we are. Who are we as women? Empowerment should not change who we are. Yes, sometimes I feel we are too empowered to neglect our husband and our brothers. Or when we are in positions of power, we want to now change, leave our soft skills of being feminine, but we want to demonstrate like we are now men. So I think that also has a lot of challenge that we need to always, that's why I was talking of mentors, that women in leadership positions, women who have been empowered, need to be continued to be mentored and to be coached. Sometimes we cross the line. We want to demonstrate the power that we have. We are over-empowered. But also, I think for me, the mindset change, the transformation is that why were we empowered? And a lot of complaint has been raised in different platforms that I've said that even women who make it to the top, when they get there, they become unapproachable. They forget their own daughters and nieces who are still trying to go up the stairs to be on the top. It's like you have been mentored, you have been empowered. Somebody has been holding your hand. And who are you holding's hand? Because these young girls are looking upon you. So sometimes I feel that line, there's a thin line that as women we really work on it. Don't forget who you are. You don't have to behave like a man because you are a chief executive, you are the vice president, you are the president. Be a president that has a feminine. All those attributes that have been seen, a motherly. That soft skills, let's not leave them, my sister, Wakuli. We must not leave those girls. It's like sometimes when you get there, we forget who we are. We are just interested that now, it's like we have entered the other side, we are now men. So for me, that mentorship, organizations like ZASS Foundation, Visionaries, you have a huge role to play to shape them and to keep them grounded and never to forget who they are. I think it's important in my view. Thank you, Akule. I hope I've answered you.
Okay, thank you. We have another question from Kuhudaina. Kuhudaina, are you online?
Her mic is off.
Oh, thank you, moderator. Thank you, Tricia. I'm sorry, I was off for some time, but I still have followed. I am grateful to the guest, and I think I've followed quite a lot of it, and I'm really impressed by the way she presented it. From the time she began, I think, with the foundation of leadership, which is faith. And I was really impressed by that. Thank you, Lydia. I wanted to just present a comment and then ask a question. My comment is particularly related to the fact that I am one of the founders of ZASS. I'm the only remaining A1. And I wanted to just comment on the fact that the family is built on, as the chairman told us, on the foundation of the parents who were Zakayo and Asnas, but more still on the fact that they had just daughters at a time where women were discriminated. And these daughters, coupled with their parents, had to literally fight to show the neighbors, the community, and later on, even the society, that ladies can still be as useful as men. And I think they succeeded to a certain degree. And just like Isaiah was pointing out, they did that without education, which we currently benefit from. They did that because they had not real, what you would say, biblical faith, but because they really believed that their role as ladies, married ladies, come first. That is your role between the husband and the wife is far greater than any other role which you will earn over and above that. And that is, I think, what Madam Lydia is emphasizing. Family is crucial, but it is crucial in such a way that the two parents have to understand each other right from the beginning, that they have come together to build a family. And if they do so, then their children will be raised within a unified family. And the values which they impart on those children will certainly lead to the true leadership which Madam Lydia is explaining to us. And I'm so glad that you actually elaborated so many examples right from the Bible. That is biblical faith. But even without biblical faith, even without different attributes of faith, people can still come together and agree to pave a way to a united and sort of living together and developing as a unity. So I'm just feeling that the presentation was real touching to all of us. Now, the second bit is the fact that leadership, true leadership, is actually inbuilt in all of us. But the fact is, for ladies or for women, it has been depressed by the tradition or cultural norms which were there in our African societies. So I think I do agree with Madam Lydia that if we wake up by being awakened by this mentorship, by other areas of mentorship, that actually we all possess those capabilities of being true leadership. And I'm so glad that our chair of ZASS, the current chair, is actually a true believer that there's no difference between a lady and a gentleman. I can see that by the way she treats us all. He sets a platform for everybody to excel, and he encourages that. And he's been real guiding us. So I think we have a leader in our chairman. But at the same time, I do agree that we are not at where we should be. So we have to keep going. We have to keep nurturing our individual families, please. Not ZASS family first. It's the individual family first. Then you go to ZASS family, and then you go to the community and society and maybe national. I think I do agree with that. Then my worry was, or maybe it is a question, is now a family in ZASS is also incorporating our let's say, the wives and husbands who didn't grow up in that setup where ladies were real fighters for equality, and they managed to do so with dignity and with humility. They still remained as wives, obeying whatever norms which are within the homes. So when we bring in our spouses, I think there is where the problem comes. It seems as if when we start that new family with a spouse who is coming from outside the grounded family, is where we need to now start creating that awareness before even our new families of children come in. And that is where I wanted Madam Lydia to maybe help us. How do they manage that? If your family is okay and it might be smooth, but if you now incorporate a spouse who is not been growing in the same area, how do we introduce and grow that spouse to be able to develop what you have? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Diana. I think for me, you have touched a very important point. I think for me, it is upon us, all of us. The institution of marriage is facing extinction everywhere. The value and appreciation of marriage, we need to stand up and protect it. And I think for me, the social value of marriages is also anchored in the church, our religion. Many of the families were, because in the past, we used to have extended families where your uncles and everybody was able to be in contact with you and continue to mentor you and coach you in their different ways. Because for me, I always say gender equality is all about how we live together, how we relate to each other. For me, I feel there is need to strike the balance. We need to strike the balance of understanding our social roles and our professional roles, and know where we stand. And I think for me, the advice I'm gonna give you is we need to intensify. And I'll repeat it again. We need to intensify premarital counseling. Premarital counseling is critical. And also, during marriage, the first years when our children need to adjust to their new roles, let both families be there to continue the mentoring and coaching and counseling ongoing. Let couples have mentors in their marriages. You can have as many as you can. Can even have mentors within the family, that these ones are dedicated to be with you. And I think we need to relook at the way we have been doing our marriages, because we are no longer getting married to we don't marry within the societies or the community that we are, because we are marrying people from different tribes from far, because we leave our home villages and go to the towns and work. Sometimes even the traditions are different. both man and wife create time to know each other, create time to appreciate and understand the family background where you are marrying, their cultures, their practices. All those things put together helps a lot. I think for me, ongoing counseling and mentoring and coaching in marriages, it's a prerequisite for successful marriages. But also embracing the family your son or your daughter is getting married. I'm a mother-in-law, I'm a grandmother, and my daughter-in-law, when she turned 5 years, she said she's still waiting to see how mother-in-laws, mistreat their daughter-in-laws. For me, the 5 years in my marriage, I've only experienced love. I've been cherished because really, sometimes I look at myself and say, why should I be competing with my daughter-in-law? What is there for me to compete with her? Nothing. So I think for me, self-reflection and also everybody doing their roles. And really, I think the nations, we need to really reinstitute this marriage. The marriage institution, we need to reflect on them. And all of us should see a role that our children's marriages, we have a role to play. And do everything in our power to save the marriages, to really make sure the value of marriage is still appreciated. And not think that I'm educated, I don't need to be married, and I don't have to respect him. So I think for me, if we can do that, Madam Diana will go far. I think that's for me. And I'm saying let's balance the social roles with professional roles. Because we need to build our homes. We need, as women, to take our roles in the homes. Yes, we can share roles and responsibilities of birthing kids and doing others, but we must know what our role is in the home and how to keep the home. And I think for me, that's key. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're having our final question from Miss Betty Kahitsa. Sorry for butchering your name.
Betty? Betty, are you there?
Maybe she
someone can help us to trace for Betty. I want to be sure they are together or something like that.
Okay, while we wait, there's another question from Miss Barbara.
Okay, thank you so much. This is Betty. Thank you, moderator, our chairperson, and the mentor for today, Miss Lydia. the person who chose the theme might have thought so well and decided a right theme: inclusive leadership, empowering women and engaging men for sustainable development. And I see it is leading us to another session of marriage in the next session. I'll start with just a comment where Uncle Isaiah started with the submissiveness part of it. Many men will think empowering a woman is giving them wings to fly and may forget to land when they are up there. So I'd really like a love to help the men too to prepare how to handle this when it comes. As you started with a biblical part, it was a really wonderful one. As a child who has grown in a religious family, I've had this scenario, and I think the best way, as you're empowered as a woman, you need to remain submissive too. I've grown with a grandma, but for the years I stayed with her, she had land and so many things. But for the rest of the life that we stayed with her, we never knew it was her land. Yet grandpa was there until he died is when we realized she's the one that worked for it, but she remained submissive. I think that one best answers Uncle Isaiah. As much as we're empowered, women need to remain submissive too. Back to the theme, economic empowerment. In Africa, there is that top to down dependency where the man is the head and the children depend on the man and the women also depend on the man. However educated the woman might be, should always need to depend on the man. So my question here is, as a woman, how can I effectively reallocate my current resources to foster grassroots economic empowerment rather than that top-to-down dependency? My second question, as we're being empowered, there is a practical implementation on that, but there is always a pushback while you're implementing this. So when shifting from a traditional management style to an empowerment-based model, what could be the best way to handle resistance from the middle management, those pushbacks that come as you're trying to empower yourself? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Betty. I think for me, really, the questions are revolving, and I think you are right for pointing out that it's like the topic is now taking us back to marriage. How do we handle marriage in the 21st century? That marriage, I think, is an institution that is also evolving and changing. And the roles and the responsibilities changes. That's why I started with Lydia and the Bible. She didn't forget her value. Despite the fact that she was making money, she remained grounded, being submissive. And I think for me, that's why I think for me, really, we need to have this mentorship throughout our life cycles. And I think those women who make it who earn even more than their husband, it's not about the money. It's about the value of marriage. It's about the respect of each other. And I think when you don't have the value and the respect for each other, and I think for me, in being able, when you are in these marriages, to manage the external influences. I don't know how it is in Uganda. In Botswana, if you go on Facebook, the kind of question people ask about a husband, asking people that they don't know. My husband has been away for 2 days. What do you think I should do when he comes home? Those kind of things, and the kind of response they get from Facebook. I think for me, it is important how we also manage this, the social media. These things have impact on how we look at things. I think let's have women and men having a platform to know to discuss and knowing when to talk to your husband. And about the dependency, Betty, I think for me, it's also looking for opportunities as ZASS Foundation Visionaries. How do you, as a foundation, create spaces where the foundation can assist its members to create opportunities, economic empowerment opportunities for the members? I think for me, we have a saying that Mosadi being a woman, Mosadi ki business, a woman should always do business. And I know from Uganda, I know you do business. And women have been helping families, have been raising families, have been supporting their husbands without pride, being humble and being submissive. Try not to be influenced by outsiders. Your family values of being humble and submissive, you should carry it and walk with it to your grave. If all of us can do that, and I'm not saying people should stay in abusive relationships or marriages, but I'm saying if you could respect each other and still being a vice president, chief executive, but you still respect your husband who does not have the same privilege that you have. And knowing in the eyes of God, what does God expect you to do in your home? To build a home and to protect your marriage. So we should go an extra mile to protect our marriage. But I think for me, I talk to people, I do a lot of counseling. I realize sometimes when women don't have money or there is dependency on men, men also tend to abuse that economic power to control people and to abuse them. So it is important for this foundation to make sure that their daughters, this is a family foundation, their daughters and son-in-laws and their sons who marry outside and their daughters who are still going to make or to marry outside, they help them to blend to the family values. You can do that. It's possible. And don't shy away for blending the daughter-in-laws and son-in-laws, because they will, if they see the value, the family value that they've created, because you would have created a masterpiece for them to marry. Thank you.
Thank you again. To conclude the Q&A session, we'll take our final question from Ms. Barbara Okoli.
Thank you, moderator. Mine is just to Madam Lydia, as an expert, you passed on this knowledge to us, and I'm sure it is expected that we have only just not learned and stopped here, but then we're expected to also move out. Now, my question is, as an expert, what have you encountered along the way, and what should we expect? Because we do not want to simply get the knowledge, sit back with it, but also pass it on. So there are certain things I'm looking at and I'm wondering, yes, if I'm to now say I also want to mentor others, what should I expect in this particular area? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Wakuli. I think for me, really, you need to be intentional in life. You have to be really intentional in life and focus and be clear on what you want to achieve. Even for the ZASS Foundation Visionaries, be intentional. Start small. Take bold steps. And even though I didn't talk about the challenges for women in trying to work in the gender space, there have always been backlash. Don't be discouraged by the backlash. Don't be discouraged by being labeled. And sometimes you are labeled as old-fashioned. Do good. And I think for me, do good and do godly interventions that God will also appreciate. For as long as you keep doing the right things for your children, for your family, for your community, and you also, mentorship is all about giving yourself, saying, this is what I am going to give, and giving it wholeheartedly. Mentorship, sometimes you need to stop looking at yourself and do things that will benefit others other than you. And you should have a satisfaction that you have done well, not because you have achieved something or you have gained something. Say, what am I giving? What is my contribution if you can leave this, I didn't come up with what you need to do because I felt that I needed to give you this and give you time to think, and then we can come and have a dialogue one day and say, what is it that the ZASS Foundation Visionaries can do to mentor? And don't only just focus on you as the foundation of visionaries. What can you give back to your communities? I really love the way you're asking this, because I think you are thinking, after this, after staying awake and Lydia talking to us, I was going to end by saying, what after this? I'm going to ask you a question. Very simple question that I normally do. What do you think you should do? If you could come out with 3 things that you could do as an organization, even 2, I'll be happy. Just 2 things that you are saying out of what you have given us, we are going to start reaching out to our children, both men and women. We are going to identify our allies as men who we know can influence. Because in leadership, you must command influence and respect. Who are they? Who can we work with? And like I have presented, which organization can we partner with in Uganda and deliver what we want to do? That I am leaving with you. But all of us, as we are sitting here, we have daughters, we have sons. What is it that you are going to do? Because I said leadership begins at home. What are the steps that you are going to do? If I ask, raise your hand who have family meetings with your children. Are the meetings regular? And what do you discuss? Because many times our children go astray because we don't even have those family meetings. We don't even have things to ask, to say, today we are going to listen to Lydia to tell us her achievements in the last 6 months. What is she planning to do? What does she want us to do to assist her? It's all about leadership. Leadership starts at the family level. They watch you, they listen to you, and they are going to repeat what you are doing. If it's negative, they'll repeat it even in their marriages. How do we do it? For me, I'm saying to you, go and come out with 2 actions, just 2 that you will do. And each one of you come up with 2 things that you will do as an individual. I'll be happy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Lydia. I think that would conclude our Q&A session. I'm handing over to the coordinator to give his closing remarks.
Okay, thank you. I'm stepping in for the coordinator. He got an emergency, has dropped off the call. So let me just say a few words, and then I'll be inviting Kuhudaina to give a vote of thanks before we close. So, Madam Lydia, let's thank you from the bottom of our hearts for the inspiring session you have given us. You have left us with an assignment to pick out 2 or 3 actions each of us will individually take and we owe you that feedback. Certainly, we want to keep our engagement offline, and maybe through Rachel and Maureen, we'll be reaching you. But what we have learned, and this is very profound, the grounding of leadership in the faith, in the Bible, is really very inciting to us to appreciate, and also the issue of inheritance, economic empowerment, issues of mentorship is a continuing process and should start from as early as possible. And capacity building, I think you have really emphasized this, and we embrace it wholeheartedly, and I'll see how in ZASS we try to develop these capacity building programs, including a new very urgent topic to be discussed in depth, the issue of marriage, because as the moderator presented, we have quite a huge population of our members who are primed for this. So I think we owe them a lot of attention to ensure that we hand them over into marriage when they are ready and they are well equipped to navigate that environment. We also appreciate the need to manage social media. I think you provided this very clearly, issues of partnerships, how the public-private partnerships are crucial and the way to go. And we got insights in regard to start and improve your business, start small, move forward boldly. I think these are very strategic statements you have made, which we shall reflect on and see how we incorporate them in our work programs as we move forward and move the agenda of ZASS to the next level. So we want to thank you. We have probably exceeded the time you allocated to us. We thought it would be a 2-hour session, but we have gone close to 3 hours, and we really appreciate your patience and sacrifice to be with us all this long. And really, there are no words to say thank you, but please accept our sincere appreciation. So on that note, I would like to call upon Mama D. Mama D, you have heard her already, her voice. She's Dina. She's our only standing grandmother from the original 6 who mentored us at the early age, and then she's the only offspring of the Kuku Asnas and Kuka Zakayo. So she holds a special space in our lives and in this platform, and indeed she continues to mentor us, and she's a living example of how our grandmothers and mothers raised us. So we want to warmly welcome her, and kindly please step in and move a vote of thanks to our guest. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, everybody. I am deeply honored to again come back and not just talk, but appreciate our guest who has done a very good job today. Miss Lydia, we really thank you, like the chairman said, from our bottom of our hearts. I can see your talk was cross-cutting. It's not just visionaries, but it goes down to even me, who is in my 70s. I feel honored to thank you, and also to really feel like you are part of us, in that you started by saying you could be either a grandmother or a mother to both Rachel and Maureen. Those are our esteemed young people, and we really love them. We appreciate the love you give to them. I also appreciate the fact that Maureen has reached a level where she could just casually, maybe, I don't know if it was officially, but casually at least talk to you to be able to talk to us as a family. We appreciate your mentorship. We also feel that maybe, just maybe, because you see how scattered we are, but at the same time we are together, we feel that just maybe in the future you continue relating to us so that you can also pave a way to other mentors who you know and who will be able to continue mentoring our family. And that is why I'm really grateful that Maureen invited you as the guest. I would not leave without thanking our chairman also, the overall chairman, Mr. Sakwa, because what I see in him is actually what you have explained as true leadership or inclusive leadership. He has mentored, or he continues to mentor us in such a way that whether you are a lady or a gentleman, I think to him it doesn't even cross his mind. He's been there trying to push us, trying to mentor us, trying to guide us. And again, I feel that he's an inspiration to us, and a leader should inspire. I am also grateful to the moderator, my young Tricia. I was happily surprised. You have displayed a lot of courage, a lot of intelligence, and I think in you, we see a future leader. So please, the fellow members of ZASS, try to come in and nurture our young ones, the visionaries. Of course, there are others, like our coordinator who has just left. We also have the crew who are technical, Kevin and Kenny, and all of us who attended and especially participated. I want to extend a vote of thanks to you all and hope that we will continue together in this journey of learning. And you know, you keep learning and relearning. There are some times when you think you have learned, but it's not enough, and something new comes out, so you have to relearn, or you have to leave whatever you were doing because it is not on the right track. So please, let's open our minds, be open, and try to keep on learning, relearning, and changing. I am hoping that you will be the visionaries who will be the people who will change others, agents of change. We are the ones, as Madam Lydia said, who are going to be the ones to interest the men and women of Uganda to be together as a family, and a substantive family, a faithful family rooted in God and guided by Him, so that we can do the right things without pretending, without feeling like we are bigger than the other. God created that institution for just the man and the lady. It was, I think, the first and only institution he participated in. So we have to respect it, and we have to come together and really be one, so that we can have good families, not only good families, but those good families will spread out to form good communities, and the communities are what we are studying on as our nation. We thank you, Madam Lydia, and we say In Kiswahili, we say kwaheri ya kuonana, meaning you don't stop here. We are continuing with you. Thank you very much. And thank you all for attending.
Thank you, Mama D. Thank you so much for those wise counsel, and we take it wholeheartedly. I think in the interest of time, let's have a closing prayer, and the volunteer for that is the daughter to Madame Lydia.
Is it the daughter or is it the sister?
Okay. Let her speak for herself.
Namtosi Rachel.
I think it's the sister.
Yes.
Let
That's my sister.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this enriching session and for the knowledge and the inspiration shared today. Help us to be inclusive leaders who promote equality, respect, and opportunity for all. Lord, help us bless our mentor and our moderator and participants today and the ZASS Foundation. Guide us as we apply that which we have learned to make a positive difference in our lives and in our communities. Lord, help us keep us safe and grant us wisdom in all that we do. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
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 Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. This is my family now.
Thank you,
I'm part of the
Lydia.
ZASS Foundation.
Thank you.
Lydia.
Thank you, Lydia.
Thank you.
We should invite you to physically visit Uganda.
In Setswana, we say Kealeboha. Kealeboha.
Kealeboha.
It means
Okay.
thank you.
Okay. Kealeboha.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
People are doing what? So should I go off?
Are you finding yourself spending almost everything you earn just to keep afloat? Especially with this life that comes with many financial constraints, making investing feel like a luxury you cannot afford. But it doesn't have to stay that way. Well, ZASS Investment Fund ZIF is here to change the narrative by turning micro savings into testimonials. At ZIF, we meet you exactly where you are today and help you turn small, consistent savings into financial progress. We use a proven path: save, invest, and grow. Your savings are carefully invested by trusted professionals in a balanced portfolio of trust funds, government bonds, and member microloans, allowing your money to grow and compound year after year. So how does it work? First, tie your savings to a goal. Is it a dream vacation, a new wardrobe, building a home, securing long-term financial freedom, or preparing for a comfortable retirement? Start with whatever you can. No amount is too small. Every contribution matters. Just save consistently and let compounding do the rest. And now, with ZASS MomoPay, everything gets much easier. Just open your Momo app or dial *165 *3#, enter the merchant code 42594478. Include your full name and purpose and send whatever amount you can. Your funds will be invested immediately at no cost to you. Don't let your dream die for lack of a plan. Start today, Use ZASS Investment Fund to turn your micro-savings into a testimony. ZASS Foundation, united in prosperity, rooted in heritage. Join ZIF today.